Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Zahra Newman about Long Story Short, which is going to be available in theaters, on demand, and digital July 2nd. Thank you for your time.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
It's always exciting when you make a film. I mean, rom-com. I mean, this is a rom-com that has a lot kind of going on. When you read the script for this, what was your first reaction?
When I first got the script, the thing that really stood out to me was the way that it read almost like a play. So a lot of my experience and background is in theater. So I was reading it going, oh, the scenes are quite long for a screenplay, and there's a lot of duologues and a lot of like banter, right? Which you don't often get in a film script. So that was the first thing that jumped out to me. And I was like, oh, yes, I get this. Like, I understand. Yes, this is my language, right? And then also, what popped out to me was the repartee between Teddy and Leanne. So Rafe's boss character, my character, the way that they kind of really bounce off each other and they have really good chat, and it was clear in the writing and the way that Josh has written it as well, that there would be, like, you could play around with that stuff. It was very playful. So that was what really stood out to me and kind of attracted me to the text.
It's interesting because, you've been on projects in the past where, like relationships and love is in the center, but like not like it doesn't compare to this movie where, there's like a time warp and everything goes so speedy and everything. What's your mindset when you're preparing for a role like this?
I think with something like this, because of the way that it was written and also because of the engagement, like how we had to work together, how I had to work with Rafe, and a lot of my work is really just with Rafe a lot of the time. Actually, what it was about building good communication and good relationship with Rafe, and feeling like we really trusted each other on set, and so that we could be available and open to each other to play. And I think that trust as well, because the trust that you have for your fellow actor in a scene or in a moment or whatever, the intimacy will come out of that. Like, that will breed the intimacy that you need to get the love and the relationship time and all that sort of stuff. It will kind of come out of the fact that you already trust that other person, and Rafe is very, very playful on set. He'll change things up, he'll improvise around the lines, and so that means that it keeps it kind of sparky and fresh.
Is it safe to say, and I mean, you're in it, so you might be a bit biased, but this is one of the most unique rom-coms to like out there right now. This is not. I just realized of course you're gonna say, yeah, it's amazing. But all seriousness though, I mean, it is. I mean, the rom-com genre has evolved. This one's taken it to a whole different level in terms of the story of what's happening.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like, yes, but it is also taking inspiration from
100%
other films. Like I know that Groundhog Day was a massive inspiration for Josh in terms of the genre of the film, and also things like A Christmas Carol and It's a Wonderful Life and stuff like that. Like, he was drawing references from films that are out there that exist. And there are other films that have kind of, like Click, I think, is another one that kind of jumping around in time.
It's funny you mentioned Click, because even without, like, I watched the film and I definitely thought of Click a little bit. So it's funny that you mentioned that.
I mean, I think, what's amazing about this film, I mean, I think some of the like locations and the fact that it's set in Australia, and some of the locations that we shot at were just so amazing. It was amazing that we were able to shoot there. But I also think the way that Rafe has gone about creating this character, this kind of like eternal procrastinator, who's he's just like in total denial about how much he's putting on hold. He's in total denial about that. I think that's really, really special.
Now, like you mentioned, you're from Australia. You've been working on a lot of projects that are Australian, but have been kind of audience-wise elevated because of streaming services and everything. I mean, you were on Wentworth, which is one of my favorite shows, and it's interesting where that's like an Australian show, but it's like a global show now, right? That's an interesting dynamic too, right? Where the access, has that hit you yet? That the access, it's not like all this amazing content from Australia, like we have access to it all over the world. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's great, you know, it's really good. And I think, you know, being able to see content from different parts of the world and not being limited by region in terms of the access that you have to material and new work and work that you've never seen before by artists and creators that, you know, you wouldn't normally get to see. That's definitely, that's amazing. That's so funny that you talk about Wentworth. My gosh, it's like, I think we forget sometimes that Wentworth.
Well, you did that that was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
That was a while ago. But I mean, well, because I think that was also perfect timing. I mean, Orange is the New Black was huge on Netflix. Wentworth kind of had this like syndication on Netflix in North America and other countries, and I think it was just like because it was amazing. Like it was binged really hard by a lot of my kind of social circle when it came out, right? But again, no. But you look at Neighbours, you look at all these amazing shows out there that, you know. 10 years ago, people probably, if they weren't in Australia, would probably not like know much about them. And that's kind of thrown out the window now.
Yeah, totally. And it's really wonderful. You know, it's wonderful for us here because I think there has been a mentality for a really long time and that's shifting, because of streaming services, but also because of the past 18 months and the fact that Australia was one of the few places that was still open, you know, that not open, but like people were moving around, you know, and able to work. And so because of that, so many projects are here now. So many creators are making work and filming it here. And there's like a shortage in crew.
That's interesting.
Like film set, they're like scrambling for crew because there's so many projects that are on at the same time here. So that's really amazing. But I think it is good because there has been a mentality in the past, I think, particularly from Australian practitioners that, I need to go to America or I need to go to Europe.
No, that's not the case anymore.
To get access or to do the kinds of things that I want to do. And that's not necessarily true anymore. So it's really great.
100%.
Really great.
The obvious answer to this question is you hope they enjoy it. You hope they watch it with their family and friends. Diving deep into it a little bit more. When people watch Long Story Short, which is going to be available July 2nd in theaters, on demand, and digital, what are you hoping they get out of it, Zahra?
I hope they have a really good time. Like, I really hope that people are entertained. You know what I mean? It is a rom-com. It's light. It's warm and fuzzy. Like, you want people to feel, you know, get a little glow up. But I also hope that they, you know, just that little niggle in the back of the head where they go away and they just think about, like, take stock of where I am with my stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
rom-coms are not.
Grandma, do I need to call my aunt? You know what I mean?
Rom-coms are like, I was talking to someone about this last year, and it's like they're playing head games now. They've never done that before, where they're kind of making you think and they get you emotional and they make you kind of overthink things a little bit. It's not just slapstick.
I hope that people, you know, take a little bit of stock and go, what's valuable to me? What's meaningful to me? And what do I want to keep around for like the long haul? You know, and maybe I need to pay a little bit more attention to those things. You know,
100%. I wanted to thank you so much for coming on Popternative to chat about Long Story Short. It's coming out July 2nd, and everyone's going to be able to see it. It's exciting.
Yeah, it is. Thank you so much. I hope everyone enjoys it.
Absolutely. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Zahra Newman and Petey Pete's signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.